Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max Kellerman, Mike Coppinger, Shady McCoy, and Malik Scott. And we're joined now by Ring Magazine's #1 ranked 140-pound contender, coming off a very impressive win, Richardson Hitchins, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Inside the Ring, Richardson.
What's up, champ?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all for having me, man. Thank you.
Are you getting a different reaction from people since the Kambosos fight? Like, do you notice that the reaction around the game is different to you?
Yeah, a lot of the casual fans, is starting to open up and see me. After the fight, I had went down to Miami to vacation, and I've been going down to Miami for a little minute. And my photographer, he's really into sports, and a lot of people will be coming up to me and he'll be like, you know who that is? This guy played for this team, or this guy is this person. So I've been having a lot of different type of people approach me and recognize me now after the George Kambosos win.
You and Teofimo Lopez had a face-off at the Danny Garcia fight. What really happened there? What can you tell us behind the scenes, and what's it like between you two right now?
I seen him, and I started, obviously, approaching him and bickering him, and started making a scene, trying to let him know that I already want the fight. And we was in the back, and I kind of told my manager, Keith Conley, I'm trying to fight. So, this is your fighter, and I'm your fighter. Let's make the fight happen. And Tia was kind of bringing up things about, the network is saying that my views is not good enough, and this and that. And we started talking about him and Shakur, and he was just saying, and he was just kind of telling me, it's different being in the ring with him and stuff like that. And then we just started going back and forth, and I was just trying to, just press up on him and let him know that I really want to fight.
Right. Okay, Brooklyn, I see you holding it down, brother. I did a lot of homework on you. I do think you have the best jab in boxing, but I heard that you got you're just as well undefeated outside the ring, like you in the ring, if you know what I'm saying. So some love there. But I want to ask you.
Is that what the streets are saying?
That's what the streets are saying. I want to get into it. I already liked him already, but I said he's undefeated outside the ring.
Now he's your favorite fighter?
We talk the same language.
Gotcha.
Whoever you fight, it'll be a solid contender, right? Can we say that? Because a lot of times dudes have a big fight, right? And then next they fighting a cupcake. And I think you are a really, really special dog. I think the world is starting to see how good you really are. So can you promise us that you will not fight no cupcake? It's going to be a solid opponent. That's all we need, dog.
I can promise you it's gonna be a solid opponent, but I can't promise you I can't not make him look like a cupcake.
Ooh, I like that.
So basically, Richardson Hitchins is open for business.
Right.
Bring your best offer. That's what prize fighting is.
Yes.
That's back in the day when you saw top fighters, even champions sometimes. I got a poster up in my house. Harry Greb, middleweight champion. His manager says, we'll fight anyone from middleweight to heavyweight. Bring your best offer. I'm at this hotel.
Right.
Basically, that's what Richardson Hitchins is saying right now. You are open for business, prize fighting, bring the biggest prize. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, obviously, it is called prize fighting, and I do want to be the best. I could first off the victory with Kambosos. I called out guys like Devin Haney. I called out guys like Teofimo Lopez. I'm willing to go up to 147 also, and challenge some of the champions up there. 140. Make some unifications, fights happen. It's all about making the biggest fights happen for me. And I'm champion now. I'm in my prime. I'm 28 years old. I've been behind the back burner, especially a lot of my peers that came up with me. These guys was champions of 4 years prior to me. So I think that now that I got my opportunity, and I feel like I am just as special as these guys, better and even better than a lot of guys that's coming up with me. So it's time for me to prove to the world who Richardson Hitchins is.
Yeah, and certainly, Richardson, you did that in your last fight against George Kambosos, and you're on Twitter and all that. You hear the noise, right? People have criticized you for your style, saying you're safety first. I don't know how fair it is. We all saw the bomb burner you had with Lemos, but against Kambosos, it seemed to me like you were out there to make a statement that you wanted to fight in a more exciting fashion. You could have beat him with just the jab, but why was it important to you to put on a good action fight and a show in that fight?
I mean, that's a great question because that's really what was the mindset walking in. I knew I could outbox him and beat him, but, George Kambosos is a great fighter, former undisputed champion, and he beat the guy that's the man, Teofimo Lopez. So, the whole build-up to the fight, George was kind of looking me in my eyes and telling me, you're not no Devin Haney, you're not no Teofimo Lopez, and you definitely not no Lomachenko. And I promised him from the day I locked eyes with him and met him in presence, and I was in his presence, and there was no more Twitter talking. I promised him, I said, When I get out when me and you get out the ring, you're gonna say I'm the best fighter that you ever fought, and that's exactly what he said once we was done in Madison Square Garden June 14th. And I just wanted to put on a dominant fashion. It didn't feel like I was just fighting George Kambosos. It felt like I was fighting Teofimo that night. It felt like I was fighting Devin Haney that night, and I just wanted to see what I could do to the guy that they fought in the past.
Yeah, you mentioned Teofimo and Devin Haney. If Teofimo does finalize his fight with Shakur Stevenson, he might be unavailable for a few months. But you mentioned 147, Devin Haney and Brian Norman fighting in just a few weeks. Could we see you fight the winner of that fight at some point next year?
I mean, the dad is bickering and saying that he wants Brian Norman to fight me after Devin Haney. I'm not ducking. I'm not, like I said, I'm willing to go up to 147, right, first fight, to go up and challenge the winner of Devin Haney or Brian Norman for the WBO World Championship. And yeah, like I said, the dad been bickering. Brian Norman dad been bickering, saying that he wants to fight me. He wants to fight me next. And in a few months, if I'm available and Brian Norman's available, let's make the fight happen. I don't see why. Me and Brian Norman already boxed before in the gym, so we put familiar with each other. So I think it would be good to do it for a world championship.
Guys like you who have educated jabs and good defenses and all that, it's difficult for the boxing public or for any of us to see just how deep your bag is until you fight one of those kind of guys. So when you survey the landscape, who's the guy out there that you say, that dude's going to make me reach deep into the bag? Like, that's the guy. Is there a guy?
To be honest, it's a lot of different styles and a lot of top fighters right now in boxing. I can't tell you what fighter is gonna make me go into a different type of bag, but different guys got different styles. You got pressure fighters like Matias, then you got slick, smart boxers like Keyshawn Davis. So it's different type of bags that I would have to go in. A guy like Matias, he'll probably bring out my will and bring out, just certain tactics and things I would have to do to make sure I dominate that fight. Then you got a guy like Keyshawn Davis that my athleticism and my talent is gonna have to match up to its peak because he's a very talented fighter. So I think the division is so talented right now. A lot of these guys will bring me out my bag.
Look, Richardson, right? We've been hearing a lot about you in boxing since you were a prospect with Mayweather Promotions, and maybe you didn't always get the exposure there, right, or the fights you needed. Then you signed with Eddie Hearn, and it's gone really well for you. You announced after the win over Kambosos that you're now a promotional free agent, and I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be after you after the way you looked. You're a champion. You're in your prime. We saw Eddie Hearn didn't love what you said, but it is a fact, and I don't think you meant anything negative by it. So what was your take on Eddie Hearn's reaction, and more importantly, where do you think you're headed now?
Obviously when I jumped out the ring, I said that I was a free agent, but I never said that I wouldn't work with Eddie. Right now my manager is still in talk with Eddie for us to, see if we could come to agreement and work with Eddie. I love everything that Eddie done for me as far as, helping, change my life and, giving me the opportunities. But it was a lot of emotions, I guess, that night. Eddie feeling away. I don't want to really speak on it, but Eddie gave me the opportunities. I executed, and like I said, I'm open to always working with Eddie. That's one of the guys in the sport that I could say gave me the opportunity that I needed to, start making a name for myself.
And you're giving him credit for that. But am I understanding this right? Basically, I'm a free agent now, and if I don't declare that openly, then I'm just subject to some arbitrary deal that my current promoter wants to give me. But I want, instead, my deal to reflect market forces. So in order to get that out there, nothing against Eddie if he comes with the best deal, but I want to get paid according to the market. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, obviously, especially after a great victory over a guy like George Kambosos, and I was going into free agency. I think that was, fair to me to put it out there that I'm a free agent and see what's the best offers that would come to me. But it was no disrespect to Eddie Hearn himself.
There's been a lot of great boxers from Brooklyn, right? You talk about the Zabs, Riddick Bowles, you talk about the Mike Tysons. How's that feel for you to carry that legacy? Even though we say that T.O.'s from Brooklyn, but you don't claim that, so I found a name in there. But how do you feel about carrying that legacy for the Brooklyn fighters?
And before I answer that, only reason I'm gonna say that Teofimo is not a New York fighter. When you talk about New York fighters, even like Tyson, Tyson was really a guy that was, he wasn't training in New York, but he was still, around the Brownsville area a lot. As far as me, when I say I'm one of the real Brooklyn, New York fighters, a lot of these, every camp that I've had, damn near as a professional, been in New York. I sparred these gyms. I ran the Brooklyn Bridge. I ran the Manhattan Bridge. I ran around Brooklyn, Eastern Parkway, sparring in Flatbush, sparring in the Bronx. So, like, I've got ready for my championship fights, and I've, you know, elevated in my career being right here in New York City. So I think that when you say a New York fighter, not the guys that's from New York, and once they start, you know, going up in their career, they start doing training camps for 3 months, 2 months out of the city and things like that, or they live in New York, but they don't train in New York. Like, I live and breathe in New York. I'm winning championships and winning some of the biggest fights of my career here in New York. So I think that I'm one of the fighters that, you know, that's holding it down after guys like Danny Jacobs and, you know, Zab Judah and them type of great fighters from New York that was at the big stage. I think that Richardson Hitchins is the new guy from New York that's going to take New York boxing back to the world championship.
There's a difference between New York and New York, New York.
I see that.
Yeah, Richardson said there's New York and then there's New York, New York.
You're not from New York.
New York. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say some names, right? And tell me the first thing that comes to your head when I tell you these names, okay? Get your water. All right, get hydrated. You ready? Teo.
Teo's scary dude. Talented but scary.
Eddie Hearn.
Oh, great businessman, you know.
Ryan Garcia. He's in the studio
TikTok.
too, though, so what you say? He's right over there.
TikTok.
When you say, I just want to be clear for people who don't know, in boxing, when someone says scary, it doesn't mean that fighter is scary. It means that he's acting scared. Is that what you mean by that? That Teo acts scared?
Yeah. You know, all of our guys, we know each other. I don't think Teofimo is a scary fighter. He's a competitor, just like guys like Ryan Garcia, you know, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. All of us came up with each other, so none of us is scared to fight. Neither one of us. None of us is scared to fight each other. But I think that Teofimo, you know, he's I don't know. He gives me buddy vibes. When he around me, I feel like he want to be my friend low key, and it's not that. We cool, but I want to fight.
Come on, Max. Keep it real. He fought. Now, I'm honest, though. I'm honest. He fought Lomachenko when nobody would even whisper his name, right?
Yep.
So I can't call him scary. I know you're friend with Tank Davis, right? Or that's your boy. Would you call him as a boxer? Would you say he's scary from the definition that you're saying? Because he ain't really even trying to fight nobody either, though.
He ain't fought no Lomachenko.
He ain't fight no Loma, none of that.
Like I said, I don't feel like none of us guys are scary. Even me throwing it out there about Teofimo is me just, you know, talking shit and just throwing jabs at him. I don't think no fighter, none of us coming up is scared of no fighter. I think everybody's down to fight everybody, but I just guess some fighters make the choice to step it up and take chances, and some don't. So but as far as being scared, I don't think none of us is scared. We've been doing this our whole life.
Richardson Hitchins, great to have you on the show. I think you opened a lot of eyes with the Kambosos performance, and people in boxing are very curious to see just how high you can go in the sport. Thanks for joining us today.
Sure. See you, champ. Yep.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.